The lie. I can't believe you would do that to your own sister. My mother's voice wasn't loud. It was worse, disappointed. The kind of disappointment that assumes guilt before explanation. I stood in the middle of the living room, confused by how fast everything had escalated. 30 minutes earlier, I didn't even know there was a problem. Now, apparently, I was the problem. What exactly do you think I did? I asked calmly. My sister sat on the couch, eyes red, tissues in her hands. She didn't look at me. That was the first signal something wasn't right. You know what you did? My father said sharply. She told us everything. Everything. The most dangerous word in family arguments. Because everything usually means one version, not the truth. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I said. My sister finally spoke, voice shaking. You told them I was irresponsible, that I couldn't handle money, that I shouldn't be trusted with the business account. I blinked. That conversation had never happened. Not with anyone. Not ever. I never said that. I replied. Her crying intensified. Not louder, more precise. Controlled. Convincing. And suddenly, the room shifted further away from me. You're really going to deny it? My mother asked. I'm not denying it, I said steadily. I'm telling you it didn't happen. My father stood up. You've always been competitive with her. That caught me off guard. Competitive? I had spent years helping her, reviewing resumes, fixing spreadsheets, covering mistakes quietly so she wouldn't look bad. But narratives are powerful, and once one takes root, facts struggle to survive. She showed us the messages, my mother continued. Messages? My stomach tightened. What messages? I asked. My sister held up her phone, briefly, but not long enough for me to read anything. Just long enough to suggest proof existed. And that was enough. My father didn't ask another question. He made a decision. If you're going to sabotage your own family, he said firmly, then maybe you shouldn't be part of it right now. The sentence landed heavier than shouting ever could. I didn't do this, I said quietly, but the trial was already over. My sister cried. My parents believed. And I stood alone in the verdict. My mother crossed her arms. Until you're ready to be honest, we need space. Space. A polite word for distance. For exclusion. For silence. I looked at my sister. For a brief second, her expression changed. The tears paused. The sadness disappeared. And something else flickered there. Relief. Then it was gone. That was the moment I understood. This wasn't confusion. This was strategy. I could have argued harder, demanded to see the messages, pulled up my phone records, proved timelines, forced logic into the room. But truth doesn't work when people aren't looking for it. So I did something unexpected. I nodded. Okay, I said calmly. Both of my parents seemed surprised. No defense. No anger. No emotional collapse. Just acceptance. Not of the lie, of the situation. I walked to the door slowly, feeling the weight of something shifting inside me. Not heartbreak, not rage. Clarity. If trust could disappear this quickly, then fighting for it in that moment wouldn't restore it. It would only create more noise. At the doorway, my father spoke again. Take some time to think about what you've done. I almost smiled, because I already had, and I knew exactly what I hadn't done. I stepped outside without another word. The door closed behind me, and with it, 5 years of family conversations would disappear. They believed a story. I chose silence, because sometimes the truth doesn't need defense. It needs time. They thought they had protected the right person. They had no idea what that decision would cost them later. 5 years of silence. The first few weeks felt unreal, not dramatic, not explosive, just quiet. No calls, no messages. No, maybe we should talk. Silence, when it comes from strangers, is normal. Silence from family feels different. At first, I assumed the truth would surface quickly. Lies usually collapse under details, timelines, inconsistencies, missing proof. But something unexpected happened. No one asked for details. No one investigated. The story had already settled into place, and challenging it would require emotional effort no one seemed willing to make. So the silence stayed, and eventually I stopped waiting. Instead of trying to fix something I didn't break, I focused on rebuilding something I could control, my direction. I moved to a smaller apartment across town. Cheaper rent, fewer distractions, more clarity. Without family gatherings, holidays became quieter, but also simpler. No tension, no subtle comparisons, no need to defend invisible accusations. Just space. And space creates perspective. I worked more deliberately than ever before, not as an escape, but as structure. I upgraded my skills, changed roles, and accepted projects others avoided because they required patience instead of recognition. The first promotion came quietly. No celebration dinner, no congratulatory calls, just an email and a deeper responsibility. I realized something important during that period. Validation feels powerful when it's present, but discipline becomes powerful when validation disappears. By year 2, I had stabilized financially. By year 3, I began investing carefully, not aggressively, strategically. Small decisions stacked, income streams diversified. Mistakes happened, but they were mine, and I learned quickly from them. Occasionally, I would hear indirect updates about my family through mutual contacts. My sister had taken on more financial responsibility. My parents were supporting her heavily. There were mentions of stress, unexpected losses, and things not working out as planned. I never asked for details, and I never commented, not because I didn't care, because silence had already taught me something valuable. When people choose a narrative without evidence, reality eventually introduces its own corrections. By year 4, my life felt steady in a way I hadn't expected. Not perfect, but grounded, the kind of stability that doesn't depend on approval. The anger I once felt had faded into something quieter, distance, not coldness, just emotional neutrality. I no longer replayed that day in my head. I no longer imagined the conversation where everything would finally be clarified. Some truths don't return through discussion. They return through consequence. Then, halfway through year 5, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something, instinct, maybe, made me answer. Hello. There was a pause. Then a voice I hadn't heard in 5 years. My father. And he didn't sound like the same man. She's in the ER. Silence doesn't erase the truth. It gives it time to surface. People can believe words in a moment, but they understand consequences over years. I learned that defending yourself loudly isn't always strength. Sometimes strength is building a life so steady that reality speaks for you. Trust, once given away too quickly, returns slowly, but clarity returns stronger. Not every lie needs a response. Some only need time.